If you have ever been to Old Sacramento here in Northern California, you may know the Delta King as a docked steam-powered paddle boat that is currently used as a restaurant and hotel. But what is its history? In this video, we find out. The Delta King and its twin, the Delta Queen, were paddle wheel steamships that mainly sailed during the night. Guests aboard would embark on a night ride on the river. Being a night sailing ship was fairly dangerous work, especially during new moons and also foggy nights. Ship captains would use their own kind of version of radar, like bats do, and blow the horn real quick and use the echo that comes back as a way to tell how close they are to something like a bridge or another boat. The Delta King didn't only transport passengers, it also took goods as part of their business as well. If heading down the river to San Francisco, food items were the norm, rice and canned food. If heading up the river to Sacramento, they took tools, parts, and manufactured goods. That was the norm. Towards the end of 1940, the Delta King was renamed USS Delta King when it was leased to the Navy to be used as a troop shuttle, yard ferry boat, and a yard houseboat. Eventually, though, the Navy's lease was up and the Delta King was honorably discharged. That was until Pearl Harbor happened. Immediately, the Delta King was added back into the Navy as an ambulance ship, taking in wounded soldiers and getting them to hospitals on land for the duration of the war. After the war, the Delta King was sold a number of times and was set to become a sightseeing boat in the Puget Sound over in Washington State, a cannery up in Alaska, but eventually it did become a dry-docked dormitory for construction workers up in Kitimat, Canada. There, it stayed for a number of years before being bought by an investor in Stockton. The Delta King sunk 2 times, once in 1974 and another time in 1981. After a $9 million and 5-year restoration, the Delta King docked for its final time in Old Sacramento to be a restaurant and hotel for the rest of its days. If you'd like a longer and more detailed history of the Delta King, please check out my podcast about it. Just search for Ricky's Historical Tidbits Podcast and look for the Delta King in the episodes section.